Lu Jinian had no intention of talking. He just brought the cigarette to his lips and took a good long drag. Moments later, Song Xiangsai turned her head and glanced over at Lu Jinian. Then, from her handbag, she pulled out a few bank cards between her two fingers. She held them in front of Lu Jinian. "These cards have my earnings from the movies I've filmed all these years. You know, and my value will just keep going up. Besides the half-winning entertainment stripped from me, I still got quite a bit in my hands. If you add it all up, there's 5 to 6 million. The pin code is 123,456 for them all." After a long while, Lu Jinian turned his head. He shot a glance at the cards Song Xiangsai handed him. With no intention of reaching out to get them, he asked in a flat tone, "Song Xiangsai, I don't remember us having such a good relationship for you to go all out to help. What? You afraid I'm up to no good?" Song Xiangsai curved her red lips into a smile. She didn't say a word, but stared out the window at the city lights, and dazed out. It wasn't like she schemed against Lu Jinian, it was just that this world had far too many fickle men. It was difficult to find such a persistent and loyal person. Even if they had no relation, she still wanted to protect this sentiment. Not to mention, he was also that person's older brother. In a split second, Song Xiangsai recovered her usual composure. "All right, I'm not joking with you anymore. If you're really worried, then take it as my investment in the movie. When we start earning money, just give me a share." "Thanks, but that's okay." This time, Lu Jinian didn't even take a look at the bank cards in Song Xiangsai's hands. The words from his mouth carried an air of arrogance. "I don't need other people's help just yet to protect the person I want to protect. HMPH, you've got spine. So let me ask you, Mr. Lu, how will you produce $1 billion out of nothing?" "I sold 10% of my shares in Winning Entertainment." Lu Jinian's tone was abnormally composed. Song Xiangsai stared blankly. After a long while, she broke into laughter. "You really are willing to do anything for her? You have to know that if you sell 10% of your shares, then there's a possibility you'll lose your place as the chairman. The entire fortune you spent to build this company from scratch could fall into someone else's hands." "So what?" Lu Jinian's tone carried a hint of disdain. He paused for a moment, raised his arm, and took a drag. The smoke lingered around the back of his eyes, revealing a hint of sadness. This money was earned for her to begin with. Heaven knows, he could take this money and spend it on her. Oh, how happy would that make him! Lu Jinian raised his arm again and took a drag, blowing out a beautiful circle. The tone in his voice was so low, it was like he was talking to himself when he spoke next. "If all it took was my entire fortune to be able to go back to the old days, I'd be willing to lose it all. At the very least, his poor former self could be her friend. Even if they couldn't love each other, the atmosphere would be warm and they could chat peacefully." Though Song Xiangsai didn't understand exactly what Lu Jinian meant by the words he said to himself, she felt as if something had covered her heart. For a long time, she didn't make a sound. The office was silent. After who knows how long, Lu Jinian's phone rang. He pulled it out from his pocket and looked at the incoming message. His hand instinctively put out a cigarette, and he picked up the call.